All right. So anyway, congratulations, Kelly, Linda, Nicole, Christine, Jean, and Barbara. I do want to shout out some welcomes. Candy, who is even on the call today, Karen, Leslie, Sharon, Sue, Dr. Pamela, Michelle, Wendy, Kristen, Kim, Jacqueline, Heather, Timothy, Laura, Kara, Michael, Claudia, Barbara, Peace, and Julie. So welcome to all my new people. I'm so glad you guys are here, and especially the new people. You're just getting started out, and this program can be overwhelming. There's a lot of information that we give you. There's a lot to, there's a lot of supplements, a lot of information, what's good, what's not good. So today I'm going to go through all kinds of stuff, and hopefully it will help you as well. So first I'm going to start off with some tools that you need. And I got a funny story. So I'm making a pesto sauce today, and I use this NutriBullet all the time. When I have a protein shake, I usually put it in the NutriBullet. But my pesto sauce, I decided to make in this thing too. And I'll give you guys a recipe in just a minute. However, I put all the ingredients in here, blended it, took it out, tasted it, adjusted it, did all my stuff, put the lid on, blended it again, and then I couldn't get the lid off. I could not get the lid off, and I'm really strong, at least I like to think I am. Looks like, oh, it's fine. But I could not get it off. So I called my boyfriend. I was ready to call my neighbor. Dr. Infantino was texting me, and I'm like, if you're in the neighborhood, I need you over here right now. I need help opening this thing. Anyway, my boyfriend told me to run it under hot water, which worked. But this is just, it's never happened to me before, so I don't know why that happened. But I am a fan of this tool. It's helpful to make sauces, salad dressings, those kinds of things. But I do make mostly my protein shakes out of that. But again, today I made a sauce with that. Another thing that you will find helpful is a simple ice cube tray. If I have too much of the sauce that I made, which I show you, I can throw that in here and freeze this. And then next week or next month, when I'm looking for those flavors again, I can pop these out, either just one or two of them. If I just want to make one chicken breast and maybe top it on my chicken breast. Or maybe I want all of them. It just depends on what I'm trying to do or what I'm trying to make. But I use this a lot. If I have leftover coconut milk, because sometimes I add a little bit of coconut milk to my shakes or to a sauce, but this is very calorie dense, so I might not use the whole thing. I put that in here. Also, during the holidays, we were experimenting with pumpkin things, and I use a couple of tablespoons in a shake or whatever I'm trying to make in those pancakes, which I'll share with you in a second. Either way, I put the rest in here, and then you can pop them out one at a time. So if it's in a big container, now you have to take the whole thing out and defrost the whole thing. What if you just want a little bit? This comes in so handy for all of that. Another helpful tool that I use is the submersion blender. I make my salad dressings with that. This has got a blender in it, so you can put your garlic and your olive oil and your whatever spices you make your salad dressings. It goes right on there. But I make puree of yam. I make puree of cauliflower with this. And also this is really good for soups. If you wanted kind of a blended soup, you're making, so you want a thicker, heartier, kind of stick to your ribs kind of soup, this will come in handy. And it's so easy. You just get some bone broth or some broth, put your vegetables in, warm it up, cook the vegetables, and puree it. Now you have a nice, thick, hearty soup. By the way, if you use bone broth, it actually has a little bit of protein in it, about 10 grams a cup. Another tool that you will need, that I use a lot, is my little waffle maker. And that comes in handy. I made my pumpkin waffles with that yesterday. If you guys were on the call yesterday. And I just put... I made that this morning. It was so good. Isn't it so good? And it smells the house so nice. But it's 1 scoop vanilla protein shake. the vanilla. You could use any flavor, but vanilla seems to work. And 1 egg, and then you add a couple tablespoons. That's why I only took out like 2 of the ice cubes of my pumpkin, because I didn't want to defrost the whole thing. That's just enough to add to this. And then the pumpkin spice, which is basically cinnamon, ginger, clove, and nutmeg. Lots of cinnamon though, and easy on the clove. Clove can overwhelm if you do too much. So that's a nice little tool, but if you don't even have a waffle maker, you can use the same, recipe, just make pancakes out of it. So there you go. Another tool is they finally came in, is I use these silicone bags. And that way, that plastic, it doesn't have the chemicals in it that leach into your food. And then this little tool that holds it open. So typically what I use that for is once a month, and yesterday, or what was it, Monday? Yesterday we went over snacks, so be sure and go over that. I'll go over some of those today, but yesterday was a whole list of all kinds of snacks. So be sure to go back to the Facebook group to watch those. But this is my mandolin, and it's got all kinds of attachments. It's got, chop it big, chop it small. You can see, chop it big, chop it small. I usually do my onions small because I will throw a little handful in my eggs in the morning. But that's a really handy dandy tool. And then you'll need glass dishes. I have all kinds of different sizes for your meal prep. You really don't want to use plastic as much as you possibly can. So let me show you just a quick demo, or not going to demo, but I'm going to show you what I did with this mandolin, which will save you hours of chopping and washing cutting boards and knives and all of that stuff. So give me a second here. So we timed it. I timed it. So it took me less than 15 minutes once a month, guys. 15 minutes once a month. I get out my mandolin and I chopped up bell peppers. I did a little bit of red. I had some green before, so I did a little bit of red this time. Red are a little bit more nutrient dense. They're more expensive, but they're more nutrient dense. So use the red when you can. My celery. So if a recipe ever calls for celery, don't leave the rest of the stock in the fridge and then throw it away 3 weeks later. Chop it up and use it. It goes in almost every recipe that you start with. And of course, onions. Now I have chopped onions. And so the start of any recipe, just anything I'm going to start, which I'll go over shortly, you already have most of the work done. So if I come home late at night from work, and it's already 6 o'clock, all I got to really do is put my onions, bell peppers, maybe my already minced garlic in a pan, and then maybe my ground turkey or my piece of turkey or my piece of chicken or whatever I'm making. The hard part is already done. So I can have a dinner ready in just a few minutes once I've made all of my baggies. So that's an important tool, and it saves me time, and it makes, even when I do my meal prep on Sundays, so I'll make a chili, or I'll make a spaghetti stew, or an enchilada stew, or something like that. Those are kind of my go-tos. But when I make them, I spend less than an hour on my Sunday. So I'm not in the kitchen all day Sunday. I'm in the kitchen less than an hour, and that includes cleanup, because I will use those onions, and I will use those bell peppers and celery and carrots. I had carrots in there too, and also spinach. I buy the big box, those containers of organic fresh spinach. I'll keep half out for salad, and I'll put the rest in a freezer baggie. And then you squish it once it's frozen. So now it's already chopped up for you. You can add fresh or frozen spinach right to your meal. So you can add that to your stew. You're adding more nutrition. You're adding more vegetables. And you guys know that the more vegetables we eat, the leaner we get, right? The more veggies you eat, the leaner you get. Protein makes you strong, veggies keep you young. And fat keeps the cravings away and helps you absorb all those vitamins. So fats are very important. Oh, another tool is this. I like this guy. If you ever want a baked apple as a snack or to make as a dessert, you know, all you got to do is core it and slice it, put it in the oven for 350. I put a little cinnamon on it. You may coat it with a little bit of stevia or monk fruit. 350 for 15 minutes. Now you have basically crustless apple pie. It's delicious. It's a wonderful snack. And you can make several apples and bring it to a party, and nobody knows it's healthy. So it's just, these are kind of important tools. All right, so must-haves. So to ensure that you're always going to have what you need in the house, for me, I always have frozen proteins and frozen vegetables. Just in case, like if I think I have chicken in the fridge, or I think I have some ground turkey in the fridge or something, and if you live with somebody else, they might have eaten it, or maybe it went bad, or maybe you ate it and forgot about it and there's really none left. Or if it goes bad, or, you know, same thing with vegetables. You go to pull out your spinach, your fresh spinach, and it's a little bit slimy. It's like, uh-oh. Well, what am I supposed to do? So that's as a backup plan. Rice, cauliflower, keep that in the freezer. That's a staple. That's an absolute staple. But bags of whatever you like. You like asparagus, you like broccoli, you like cauliflower. Again, rice, cauliflower, green beans, whatever vegetables you like. Peas and carrots are nice to add to a recipe. So keeping those as a backup plan, all you have to do is defrost your piece of protein, whatever that is, chicken or fish, and that will ensure that you have something at all times. Also, must-haves in the pantry. I like, to have a good tomato sauce. This is the start of a lot of recipes. You want a kind of an Italian flair. This is a start. So if I have ground turkey, or maybe it is a piece of chicken breast, and I want to make it kind of an Italian, I'm going to add maybe something to it. I might add some bell peppers and onions and garlic, which I already have chopped and ready to go, and then just add some like zucchini or mushrooms, and it's a perfectly great side dish or topping to your chicken or fish or your turkey. So this is a staple. I never try to be out of that. The Siete enchilada sauce, again, same concept. I add the same things. I either add the onions, bell peppers, and celery to this, or onions, bell pepper, and celery to this, with my ground turkey or ground chicken. And that's a meal. It's primarily just protein and veggies. And if I make a couple of batches of that, or a giant batch, I'll freeze some, put it in one of my containers, and then keep the other half out for the rest of the week. So my lunch is set for the rest of the week. My days are busy. I like to cook my dinner fresh at night, although it's 90% ready for me because I've already pre-cut everything. But my lunches, my daytimes are busy. So I need to prepare my lunch and have that ready. So that's what I do on Sundays. But again, it only takes me an hour or less because my veggies are already pre-cut. This one I haven't tried yet, but it's kind of I guess it would have Mexican flavors, but it's a green chili cooking sauce. So this kind of gets it going. You don't have to be a chef. You don't have to be, a good cook to do this program. It's ground turkey or chunks of chicken, whatever the case may be. It could be pieces, it could be shrimp, it could be crab, it could be scallops, whatever you want. But all these are a start to any dish. You don't have to be slaving over the stove all day. But again, it's a cooking sauce. Just look at your ingredients, because a lot of these, the enchilada sauces, they often have soybean oil in those. So those I would avoid, which is why we go Siete. Also a staple, this is also kind of a base. So if you're in the mood for something creamy, and this comes in the light version as well, It is less thick and it is less creamy if you get the light version, but it's a lot less calories. So if you're too high on your calories, you might go light. If you're low enough, if you're too low on your calories, you definitely want this. So with this, I will add some garlic, maybe some onions, maybe some bell peppers, and then add whatever proteins. I added some fresh spinach this last time, and of course lots of garlic, good several handfuls of fresh spinach, and then some raw shrimp. Put the lid on it, and I was doing it live like this today. And then I put the pan aside, put the lid on it, put the pan aside. I finished my call, and then after, and I put it on the pasta. And after, it was so good. It was like a chicken Florentine or shrimp Florentine on pasta. That's another, reminds me, another staple you want to have in your kitchen is either the skinny noodles. You can also get the hearts of palm noodles. It's called It's Skinny. That's the name of this one. So there you go. It's Skinny. Hopefully that's not backwards for you. But this, I have grown to love this. I'm going to have this for lunch today. So you guys will see what I'm going to do with it.
Tammy, the Miracle noodles, can those be consumed?
Yes.
Okay.
They're the ones made with the konjac flour.
Right.
Then yes.
Okay.
Yes. Yep. From day one. You don't have to wait.
Oh, awesome.
Yep.
Those are so good.
Yep. Obviously,
To
it's,
your point though, what are the skinny noodles made of if it's not the same?
it's the same. Konjac flour, konjac powder. It says oat powder, water, and sorbic acid. But this is, I would have that from day one because it's not gluten.
Quick question on your coconut milk. I get confused because they all say stuff on the back. Is guar gum good, bad,
You know, it's a thickener.
or which one to buy?
This one has it too. This is not something we're having every single day. At least I hope not, or I don't have it every day because it is very calorically dense. But on occasion, if you really want to get a creamy sauce, like I add this sometimes to my spaghetti sauce, and now it's a creamy tomato sauce, and man alive is that good. And also, sometimes I use just a little bit this in my protein shake, and that's where this comes in handy. So I'll put the rest in here, and then I can pull 1 or 2 cubes out, throw it in my NutriBullet, and have a creamier shake. And I don't have to defrost an entire, glass bowl of it. You just pop out as much as you need. Guar gum, it's not like the first month or 6 weeks. There's really, you want to eat as clean as you can, especially if you're here for gut health and liver health. But on occasion, a little bit of guar gum. It's just, I haven't found one without it, but this is allowed. So it's some.
Tammy, the recipe that you talked about using the coconut milk and the shrimp, is that in the book at all?
No, because I just made it up.
Oh my God, that sounds so incredible.
And today's, I'm gonna make a pesto chicken pasta today, and I'll give you the recipe for that. But I had to substitute out some things because I didn't have all the right ingredients, and I tasted it before I cooked it, and it was delicious for me. I'm not super picky. I'll eat pretty much anything, so I might not be the person to ask. But it had just enough garlic, that pop that basil really brings, and I could taste a little bit of the lemon. It called for walnuts. I didn't have walnuts, so I put the cashews because I was going to make a different recipe that called for cashews, so I bought a big thing of cashews. So another staple, I have buffalo sauce. You can add that to your cooked chicken or whatever. This makes a great snack, or you can have it as your dinner. Just top it on your chicken for extra flavor.
I put it on my broccoli. I put it in a dipping bowl and I put the chicken and the broccoli in it because it tastes different every day. You do different dips.
Yes, that's perfect. I love that. That is a great idea.
With the broccoli, you can use
Nope, we can see
You
it.
can also use this, you know, and get the frozen broccoli and then just microwave it.
That sounds wonderful. And
Then
that's,
I use on the shake. I put this stuff in it, the cacao. I make it more chocolate.
yep.
I just, you know, because like sometimes with the avocado, if you're mixing the shake with the avocado, it can taste like avocado. You know, so I just add that, and it makes it better. And then, did you tell them about this stuff?
I don't know if I got to that yet, but
No.
Lakanto. Now, just to be clear, guys, this is not the maple syrup that you use for the cleanse. You need the actual 100% pure organic maple syrup. This is a sugar-free one, but it's sweetened with monk fruit. So I like this one.
Well,
And-
like, because when I logged in, I heard you talking about making a pancake with the.
Well, yeah, because and I had this morning because I made one of these yesterday and I didn't eat it.
Oh, okay. I
Um,
wanted to show them also that, you know, with eggs, I often put in a frying pan a packet of artichokes.
ooh, yes, that's wonderful. So the hearts of palm will substitute artichokes. To me, they have a similar taste.
Similar.
So that's
It's
and
just
those are
fiber. It's just fiber that your gut wants. So I take that roasted red peppers, a jar of, and rinse them and dry them, and I stick them all in a frying pan. Sometimes like fire roasted tomatoes and eggs and all that stuff. I'll just eat anything. I'm to that point where I don't care. Anyway, those are, and I keep those shirataki noodles is what they're called. I keep them in one of these because I buy them on Thrive Market. And
What-
They
what's in those? What's in those?
This is konjac, Sam. They come in fettuccine and angel hair.
Oh, good.
And Thrive Market is a place online where you can just order or by diet the foods that you're looking for. You pay a subscription. They send it to your house, and you get each noodle pack for like $2.
Oh, that's cheap. That's really cheap.
Yeah. So then you know you pay a subscription, but then you just get everything wholesale. So it's kind of like the same thing. They're organic shirataki noodles, and it's called Thrive Market.
Oh, Thrive. I've heard of Thrive. Yeah.
Yeah, and they have the buffalo sauce from Primal Foods. You just put in the diet that you're on. So for this one, you might put paleo or keto or
Paleo would be.
gluten free. Click all those boxes and see what comes up. Then you don't have to go down the rows and eliminate things. That's what's available. They're serving it to you. Just a little tip. I'm making a salad while you're talking about food.
Very good. Very good. We call that net time. No extra time. You're making a salad and you're joining the group call at the same time. So that's awesome. Also, for those of you guys missing your coffee, there's the Ticino. I love the Ticino. And I'm really a fan of their almond. Also, the chocolate mint is a really nice afternoon snack. But this is coffee-free and caffeine-free. It's primarily mushrooms and herbs, and it is compliant. It's gluten-free, acid-free, natural energy boost, heart-healthy potassium, prebiotic, so it's actually gut-friendly. And I put this right in my coffee pot. So, and my coffee pot has a timer. So when I wake up in the morning, this is ready for me. So that's something to know. Oh, and another kitchen tip. I bought fresh parsley and fresh cilantro. So what you do is you just cut the bottoms off like you would a bouquet of flowers, and you put them in a jar of water, and then I keep them in the fridge. And these are from last week. And I actually added some of the parsley to the recipe I'm making today, which I'll show you in a minute. But this is a great way to keep these fresh longer. Also, if you buy fresh herbs, like the fresh basil, I use the whole thing of fresh basil. Where's the container? Oh, I use the whole thing of this today for my recipe. I just love basil. But if you don't have room in your fridge for this, because this is kind of, it can spill if you knock it over. Again, this is where this comes in handy. So if you buy fresh herbs, put what's left over in here, and just put a little bit of either avocado or olive oil in your ice cube tray, just to top it, to kind of seal it so it doesn't dry out. And then as you're cooking, if you're trying to cook a little bit of like a tomato sauce, you want to add fresh basil to it, you pop out a couple of these from your freezer, and then you have the fresh, herbs. So that's just another way to not throw away half the herbs if you didn't use your whole thing.
Right.
So
Tammy, do you chop them up and put them into the little...
yeah, I use kitchen scissors.
Okay.
So I would just cut this up, like you can't see it, but I would cut this up. You could get it on a cutting board and do that too. But if I cut it up, put it all in a bowl, and then throw them in the ice cube tray, top it with a little bit of the good oil.
Thank you.
Yeah. And then salsa. That's just kind of a go-to. It's a nice way to add extra flavor to pretty much anything. It could be on your salad. It could be on your shrimp. It could be on your chicken. It could be in your Mexican stew or your enchilada stew. However you want to use that, it's just basically vegetables, and it adds a good healthy flavor. Bone broth, that's another one. You start any soup with that. All kinds of stuff you can do, but this is a nice afternoon snack. Yesterday when I was talking about snacks, as kids I grew up eating ramen, from those styrofoam cups. Remember, we'd put the boiling water in and put the lid back on, and then you couldn't drink it for 20 minutes because it was too hot, and all you want to do is eat it. Well, you can make your own. All you got to do is, warm some of this, put some of these in, and if it's the spaghetti, you might want to cut the noodles so that you're able to eat it. And then if you have peas and carrots frozen in your freezer, which you should have because that's a staple, that's an automatic backup plan, right? Throw that in there so it looks just like the ramen we grew up with, and it makes a nice afternoon snack. Another thing I want to talk about snacks too is people think snack food has to be different than meal food. And I'll tell you, mostly the things I snack on is just a smaller portion of what I'm eating at lunch or dinner. So if I make a giant salad with all kinds of the goodies, purple cabbage, red bell peppers, shredded carrots, shredded cabbage, all kinds of good cucumbers, tomatoes, cherry tomatoes, whatever. If I make a big giant bowl of that, maybe as a snack after lunch, I might have a smaller bowl. I might not add chicken. Maybe I do, maybe I don't. But it's a nice little snack. It doesn't have to be different. Where are we at? Oh boy. So some of the other snack ideas: kale chips, egg salad, tuna salad, chicken salad, all of which you can put on a celery stick or a cucumber, sliced cucumber, instead of a bread. Or you can put it in a lettuce leaf. No sugar added turkey jerky, protein balls. If you go to the internet and put in paleo protein balls, they won't ask for peanut butter. They'll give you the almond butter version. But I use my chocolate protein powder for those, and you get chocolate protein balls. And like Liz was talking about, you add extra cacao to it if you want it extra chocolatey. I do that as well.
Can you talk about how you make those with your in-house recipe?
I don't have the recipe like memorized, but I just take an amount of like nut butter, and then I add enough chocolate protein powder till it gets to a consistency where I can roll it up. And then what I personally do, you don't have to, is I put all the balls in the freezer. So now I have this chocolatey, nutty, you could add coconut to it, you could add chopped nuts to it. If you guys are on nuts don't come back in the first 30 days, you're off of nuts. You're off of nuts in the first
What about
30.
the nut butter? Like, can we eat them?
Yeah, after day 30, you can have like almond butter or cashew butter or sunflower seed butter. Peanut butter can come back at week 12, but it's a legume, so we're going to keep that on at bay. That's my favorite. I like peanut butter of all the butters the best. So that's
I
probably
think it's important to read the labels, guys, on those because the oils can sneak in those.
100 and sugars. 100% right. She's 100% right. But I'm more concerned, well, not more concerned, but usually what I find is there's sugars added. So if it's like Peter Pan or Jiffy or something that they're marketing to kids, then it's probably got a sugar in it. So if it just says nuts and salt, I'm happy.
I find the freshest and the best one is Publix Greenwise peanut butter brand. Has nothing in it. It's just nuts, peanuts.
All right, I'm taking you guys over to my, so this, I don't know if you can see it. This is the sauce that I made that I couldn't open up that jar I was telling you about. So the recipe is, and again, I just threw everything. This is so easy, like beyond easy. Let me get this here. I don't know if I can get this. You guys can see here. You're not going to be able to see my food on it. All right, well, anyway, the recipe for this, what I'm going to make, couldn't be any easier. So it's a handful of basil. And again, I didn't even measure. I just used the whole container of the basil. I used some of the fresh parsley. The recipe didn't call for it, but I had some, so why not? So I put some in there. I also had some frozen spinach in my freezer. So I threw some in there just for extra nutrition. It calls for 1 to 2 garlic cloves. I added 2 tablespoons of that minced garlic. It calls for 1/3 cup of walnuts. I didn't have walnuts, I had cashews. And when I tasted it, and I was like, oh, wow, that's really good. Juice from half a lemon. I added a little extra because I do like lemon a lot. Half a cup of extra virgin olive oil. I used avocado oil because that's what I had in the house. And then salt and pepper to taste. So that's it. All you gotta do, move it forward, put it all in your NutriBullet and blend it up. Now it might be thicker than you want. All you gotta do is add a little more oil. I had to add a lot more oil than what the recipe called for. I don't know if it's because of the cashews or what, but just for consistency reasons, I did end up adding more oil. So this is,
Your spinach was frozen.
yeah, and that didn't call for spinach at all. It really didn't call for spinach at all. So, because I knew I was going to meal prep today, I did not meal prep over the weekend, but I knew I needed Monday and Tuesday's lunch to be ready for me, so I bought one of those pre-cooked chickens at the grocery store. So I had enough chicken left for today, so what I did was I chopped it up. Took me longer to chop up the already cooked chicken, you know, from the carcass than it did to make the sauce. I'm telling you guys, I didn't chop anything for the sauce. I just shoved it in the NutriBullet, hit go on the blender. So I'm just going to add this chicken because I always want a protein at my meal, every single meal. And then I'm going to coat that, and then I'm just going to let it warm with the sauce. I did turn the heat on before I started the class, just because I thought it might make the garlic kind of, I don't know, just infuse all the flavors together. It's been blended pretty well, so anyway, I'm just going to leave that there to get nice and warm. Now that's a lot of sauce, so I'm probably gonna have some left over. This skinny noodles is already cooked, so I'm just gonna open it up. And to me, I know Liz talks about how the Miracle noodles are the ones that stink. I don't think these ones stink, but maybe that's just
No,
me.
they don't anymore. It changed and they don't stink anymore.
Oh, good.
Things you'd be like,
Yeah.
I boil mine. Sam does it different. She'll use hers right out of the pack and rinse them. I rinse them, I boil them for 6 minutes, and then I throw that water out and I get that pan dry and I put it back in there for the noodles to dry. And then I fry them.
Yeah, I'm just draining mine right now.
Nice and, good for your bite.
Yeah.
And then I throw, while I'm frying the noodles, I put shrimp in a different pan with olive oil, ginger, and garlic and lemon. And
All right, so I'm adding
I make
my,
lemon pepper.
What is it?
You got it?
Did
You got it?
Do you have to drain those?
I just drained it. So, I'm gonna use this little tool here just to mix it up
Yeah. Okay.
and start to coat it. The recipe also did call for Parmesan cheese, which I did not use. I did not, and it,
Nutritional yeast?
pardon me?
Can you add nutritional yeast?
You can. That is allowed from day one. Oh my gosh, my mouth is watering. This smells really good.
Mine too. So what were the ingredients I missed? I got the walnuts with olive oil, salt, and pepper. What?
Handful of basil. What was it again?
Put it in the chat.
Oh, thank you.
Basil, and then I just took a little bit of parsley just because I had it, just to add it for this. Parsley is very nutritious. It's an internal body cleanser. It's high in chlorophyll, which helps us clean out the blood. It will give you good breath, so that's a good thing when you're eating the garlic.
It's also like what pesto is made from normally, right?
Is it? I don't know. This is my first time making it. I don't know how I have the courage to make
Really
something.
like pine nuts and basil and parsley.
Yeah, I just added the cashews.
Oh, yeah, you could use pine nuts or, they would call for pine nuts, which are like $21 a pound.
Yeah, and I'm not doing that.
And then the walnuts, I've heard they taste exactly the same.
I didn't taste any difference. I think it's more of a consistency thing.
Sure.
All right, so I don't know if you can see that here, but that to me looks and smells. Oh shoot! Can you guys see that?
Yep, better.
Oh, I don't want to spill oil on my computer. Holy smokes! Almost did that. Ugh. Let me get it on a plate.
And then post it later.
Yes, I'll do that. Let me get it on a plate.
Those noodles are so versatile. You could just put it on, like I use shrimp because I don't like to eat chicken every day. So once a week I have shrimp, because it's a higher ticket item. But yeah.
All right, so maybe I can. I don't know. It smells really good. All right, off. Let me go to my other camera. There you go. So hopefully, sorry you guys. I'm moving you all around my kitchen here. All right, so, oh, beef gelatin, I forgot to talk about that. That's a good thing to have in your house as well. But anyway, so now maybe the lighting is a little bit better. I don't know if you can see that. Ugh, well, you get the idea. Let's see, anything else? I'm so excited to eat this. So for me, it's just basically protein and vegetables. You know, it's got the parsley, it's got the basil. So all of that green stuff is going to be good for my detoxifying my body. I'm going to be happy because I can smell the garlic on that. And even when I tasted the sauce, I could taste the lemon, which I love lemon. So I'm really happy about that. I could add a little bit of cream. So if I had some of this in my ice cube tray, I might add 1 or 2 of these just to give it a creamier. It doesn't need it, but I'm saying for variety's sake, if you have, you know, open one of these and you throw it in here, it's just having it stuff in these things. It makes it real easy to use just a little bit. If you're going to use a can of something, you know, you're going to use just a portion of it. That's a great way to, that's a really important tool. It's $1 at the dollar store. So, or probably get 2 for $1. I don't even know. Anyway, does anybody have any questions?
I did. The beef gelatin. If we can't eat beef right now, can you still use the beef gelatin?
Yes, yes, because it's broken down, and actually gelatin is very gut friendly. It is very good for healing the gut. It's very good for leaky gut. So if we have leaky gut, it means there's holes in it, and the food gets out and causes all kinds of problems. It causes autoimmune, Hashimoto's, fibromyalgia, all that stuff. So with gelatin, it can help strengthen the gut so those holes get closed up. So I'm a big fan of that. I made a chocolate pudding, which I'm going to show you tomorrow because it's not ready yet.
Okay.
So tomorrow's dessert day. So if y'all like dessert,
Yay.
please, you know.
I used to add the beef gelatin to my coffee with coconut milk.
Ooh.
Yeah.
You know what I use the beef gelatin for, in addition to that pudding that I'll show you tomorrow, is I was making a salad dressing, and I was actually trying to lower fat, so I wanted to use less olive oil because I wanted avocados and maybe some walnuts or whatever in my salad. So I'm trying to, okay, that's enough fat over there. How do I cut fat without making it too watery? So I'd add a little bit of beef gelatin. You put it in the fridge for like 5-10 minutes, and now it's thick. It will.
You would put it into what? Into the fridge?
So if I made a salad dressing, you know, I put a little little vinegar and water. I made one with some grapefruits. I was trying to experiment with. My friend gave me a bunch of grapefruit. She had a grapefruit tree. So I'm like, what do I do with these things? How about a salad dressing? I don't know. You guys, the more you play in the kitchen, the more you're going to discover. And the more it's easier and less scary to just wing it. I winged this. And I wasn't even scared of it. And it turned out, I already tell you, I tasted the sauce. It was delicious. But in my salad dressing, I put a couple of wedges of grapefruit, some vinegar, some tarragon, some water. And then I did end up adding a little sweetener. It was just too tart. And it was just watery. So I thought, what if I add some gelatin? And so I added the gelatin. It was still kind of watery. I put it in the fridge for maybe 10 minutes. Bring it back out, and it poured like a nice thick salad dressing.
Wonderful.
So it only works with cold things. So if you're thinking you're going to thicken your sauce and make it a gravy, gelatin will get watery when you heat it. But if it's a cold salad dressing, it works. Well, phew.
That's awesome. Thank you.
There's a
I
lot here.
wanted to show off a product that I liked. It's from Swell. I got it on Amazon, and they are glass cooking jars that you put in the fridge, but they're marked how much you're eating.
Oh, I love that.
Yeah, and they sell them in 3-packs, and unfortunately, the 3-pack is $40. They're super durable. It's kind of like a picnic item. Like you could just take this. It's like a chef's. Like it's pretty profesh. Anyway, they're marked, right? So it's got a cup, a half a cup, of milliliters, stuff like that on the side. So it's kind of nice. Additionally, TJ Maxx and Marshalls sell the Pyrex or Anchor Hocking brand glass containers. When you buy these, this size is not dishwasher safe, but this is. So you'll find cracked glass in your dishy if you get the smaller one. You got to read the box.
Hold on 1 second. Let me unpin myself so we can all see.
These,
Oh, okay.
these are dishwasher safe. This smaller size was not. So I bought a few in the dishwasher, not realizing because they're the same brand and so on. You know, the larger one is the Pyrex ones. That TJ Maxx rarely has those, but the Anchor Hocking brand they do sell. Some of which is dish safe, some of which is not microwave and dish. So you got to read that label.
I know for a while Costco was carrying a big box of glass covered dishes, storage dishes.
Yeah, I thought they had.
They're always cheap, you know.
They had like the snap size, which you know I don't know. Yeah, I don't like the snap. But yeah, I just think that. And then I got these pinch bowls for salt and pepper by the stove, so you're just cooking.
Right.
Then your ginger and your half lemons when you're cruising through your day, you got this thing going all the time because you got. I mean, I'm going through like 4 lemons a day, so I drink lemon water. I just keep the ginger in here and just peel it with a spoon and grate it into the lemon water. It's pretty spicy and it's kind of good, and I feel like it has moved some stuff for me.
The lemon juicer, I bought one on Amazon for I think it was like $30. It's electric.
Oh, nice.
And it works wonderfully. So
What is electric, Kathy?
Juicer.
It's called juicer. That's electric.
Yeah.
Well,
I could show you. I'll get it.
I'll tell you what, this took me longer to juice my lemons when I just did the cleanse last week.
Yeah,
Then-
you need like five and a half. What were we doing? 5.5 in a bottle?
Then this one was faster. This one was actually like this thing, and it's not electric.
I think they call it a reamer.
Is that what you call these things? But this one was faster than this for me.
Look at Kathy's.
It's called Elite Gourmet. Hold back.
That thing is hot. I love it. That's great.
Yeah. And how it works, I mean, it's got its own little strainer. It catches the seeds. It's got that cone over here. That cone, like the manual one has. And when you plug it in, all you do is when you press on it, this thing spins around.
Oh, nice.
And then if you lift it up real quick and push it back down, it reverses.
Oh, cool. Well, that's really cool.
Someone said in the chat, like, oh, there's a bunch of chats. I didn't even.
And what you call the name of it again?
It's called, I don't know if you could see the name, but it's called Elite Gourmet.
Oh, there it is. Yeah.
And I think it was like $30 because I didn't want to spend a lot of money on a juicer. You know, they could run into the hundreds. And then it's got its own little cover. So if you wanted to just, do your lemons up earlier, and then you could just cover it.
I will say,
That's
I used to be so cheap and I didn't want to buy anything. But when you do get yourself a kitchen tool that makes your life easier, this is a lifestyle. We are going to be doing these things week in, week out, as long as we live. Pretty much. We're going to go out to dinner, of course. We're going to have a cheat meal on occasion, of course. But for the most part, if it saves you an hour of time chopping your stuff, buy the thing. Think of all the men. I'm sorry to pick on any men, but think of the money they spend on tools for their garage. And we're cooking the food, so we're probably cooking for them. So they can't get mad at that. It's not like they're making us things in the garage all the time. Maybe they are. Or maybe they're fixing stuff, so let them spend the money on that. Fix the house, do the house, take care of the house. I love that. But if we're doing the cooking, spend the money. Get the thing.
Yeah.
Get the thing.
When I just moved recently, the movers who were unloading my kitchen cabinets, and they're loading up all these tools, and they're like, "Do you use all this stuff?" I'm like,
I do now.
yeah.
This is the sous vide stick you put water into this container to whatever, you sink this guy in, and it water baths the food. You put the food in a silicone bag or whatever kind of bag you want. You dress it with, your olive oil, your lemon, your salt and pepper, whatever, and you just find the temperature guide that comes with it. Chicken's 165. You hit 165, and it'll circulate that water to that degree and will never overcook. You can leave this in there with the chicken in there at 165 for like 6 hours.
Wow.
You could leave for work and come back, and it doesn't matter. It's not overcooked.
That's so cool.
Really
And then it
white.
was $100. That's
With
all.
$100, the company is Anova, A-N-O-V-A.
Anova. It's
Sous vide.
and what do you call that thing? What do you call it?
Sous vide, S-O-U-S-V-I-D-E.
Sous vide. Sous
Sous
vide.
vide. And I bought this bucket separate, but they have their own. I didn't know that, so I'm like, this is a Cambro bucket. You can get these also. Food safe, it's food safe. It's what they use in the kitchens when you're at a restaurant. They prep their food and they stick it in here, like all the carrots, and everything like that. But yeah, it's a water bath, and it's the way French cook, and they put their steaks in water bath. That's why if you go to a bistro, you order something, it's ready in 10 minutes because it's already cooked. They just put it in a cast iron pan to give it color.
Yep.
They throw some butter and some
Yep.
herbs on it, and you're rolling. So this could not be the best time saver because there is no way you go to work, you set it up, you come home, it's the same as it would have been if you were there. It doesn't matter. So that's kind of like a way forward. You can cook eggs in it. You could cook. It comes with a ton of recipes. We use it almost every other day with the chicken in here because we're going through so much chicken. But I had a question, Tammy. I bought this again at the TJ Maxx raid the other day. It's some kind of silicone muffin pan that you just pop the pieces down and it collapses. Are we able to cook in silicone?
Yep.
Yeah.
Mhm. Yeah, these are the silicone bags.
Oh yeah.
I just bought those. Well, I just started thinking about I've been using these plastic bags. And last week we were talking about chemicals, and there's a lot of chemicals in plastics. So we're going to use them. It's not going to kill me tomorrow, but it's the accumulation of things. So if we start to make these little changes and start to use silicone bags instead of regular plastic bags, what I'm hearing about aluminum foil, it's aluminum. It's aluminum. So I'm done with that. So I just use parchment paper. I don't know how I'm going to do barbecue. I haven't thought about that, but I don't do that stuff very often anyway. But it still does add aluminum to the food, the aluminum. So it's these little tiny things that we can do.
Parchment paper, and they suggested using butcher paper.
Oh, okay. I tried to find that once, and I asked everybody, "Do you have butcher paper?" Like, I don't even know what you're talking
I've
about.
never been able to find it yet.
And so, it's commercial possibly, but
I didn't like it. I didn't like it. I ate the whole thing. Well, there's more, and I'm going to have seconds.
How did you eat that? We didn't even see you.
Oh, I was shoveling, baby. I was shoveling.
We've been buying her time. We've been buying.
You guys are taking you guys were doing the thing, and I'm like, yeah. This was a winner in my book.
No, that's
It's very rich because I
Anything
can.
with those noodles, it's so satisfying to have noodles. It's
And
so
I know you rinse yours, but I didn't do any of that. I just drained it and put it right in the pan, and it was fine for. I'm the queen of how can I make this go faster and how can I make this easier. And so look at how long it took me. It took me. I did tell you guys. I made this sauce earlier just to get the consistency right because I hadn't made it before. So I couldn't get the lid off of my NutriBullet. Where is it? Oh, it's over here. Yeah, I couldn't get the lid off. What am I gonna do? And I'm calling people. Dr. Infantino, come over, help me open this thing up. No, my boyfriend just told me, run it under hot water. That'll do it. And that's exactly what
Wow.
worked.
You can crack it or put a spoon in. Yeah. So on a side dish, I have a question. I made it for Thanksgiving. It was really good, but I didn't eat it. Was cranberries boiled in water
The zest.
zest, and 2 small apples chopped up, boiled.
What about?
I mean, can we eat a small amount of that? I ate
Yes,
2
there is sugar in the juice of the orange.
Yeah.
Cranberries are technically low unless you buy dried cranberries, just FYI. They add sugar to those. I know that you're talking about fresh, but I make my own and I do the zest of an orange. Sometimes I will chop up a wedge of it because if I bought the orange, I'm using it for the zest. I'll put a little bit of the orange in there, but very little.
I took the segments and I put it in there, and I took the apples and they were in there. They were peeled.
That would be a wonderful sauce on a piece of chicken or turkey.
I tell you, it is delightful when you add apple pie spice or cinnamon and nutmeg and clove and the fall spice.
Yep. Yep. I
It
use.
was cinnamon, ginger, and clove that they added in it. It is such a sleeper, man. That thing is good. It's cranberry chutney.
Basically.
That's what it was called. I got it on Pinterest, and I thought the least of the biggest problem I saw was, okay, there's 3 fruits. Cranberry, I'm not really counting. It's super tart, and it's good for your cells, right? It's good to it binds to your cells, and it keeps toxins out. It helps your gut wall. So I was cool with the cranberry.
As long as you don't exceed a half a cup of all the mixture together, then you're not exceeding your carb.
You would get 2 tablespoons on your plate, and you'll drag your chicken through, and you'll be the happiest person eating. And I didn't notice my glycemic index, like I didn't notice a rise. I didn't get like a headache. So, something to think about in the kitchen, like modernized.
Yep. Yep. I make
Because
that
the
all the time.
cranberries are on sale, even in the freezers, like 2 for $4. Like you can get like 2 bags for $4 right now.
I make it. I saved it for, I buy the bags of cranberries and then I freeze them because I want it all year round. But this is not, I used to work at a French restaurant and of course we had duck à l'orange, but he also had a duck with the cranberry. And so instead of adding the sugar like they normally do, I just add my stevia and my little bit of orange zest with cranberries. And I like this.
I used the maple syrup.
Okay, yeah, I didn't use that. That's different. But either way, especially if you're using this one where there's no sugar added.
No, I used the one from Kirkland
The real sugar. The
deal.
sugar. Okay. Well, if I can ever substitute and not have sugar, I'm gonna do it. So that's why I use this one.
I just said like some people sometimes you have guests, and I made it for everybody, and I stayed kind of outside of the realm of eating shovelfuls of it. I just had like the 2 tablespoons of it, but it was delicious. Everybody else was like, oh my god, what is this?
Yeah. Tammy, I have a little tool for you.
Yes.
Where are you? Do you see this?
I could have used that.
I use this all the time with my NutriBullet because I put it
Well,
on too
I
tight.
think because I was dealing with oil, I might have got oil on my hands and I just couldn't do it. I couldn't grip it.
These are real cheap. You can get them in a pack of them at the grocery store.
Yeah. Well, the hot water worked. I just ran hot water on it and that seemed to work, so.
I bring it to my husband when I've made it.
Well, I don't have one of those, so.
So, on the tea thing, what I do is I'll brew tea, and I'll put some cranberries in it. The thing that I have to do though is, I gotta put the cranberries in a loose tea thing because of the seeds will all break out and clog my stuff, my tea strainer. But also I'll throw a cinnamon stick, some cloves, some ginger, just whatever spice is in there. And that way I don't need any sweetener or anything like that, but I've gotten the cranberries. So I always keep cranberries in the freezer.
Yep, me too. That's awesome.
It was cranberries, cinnamon
I'm
sticks.
gonna put it in the chat. I'm gonna put my recipe in the chat.
Oh, cool.
So there's some chats in here. It says, Candy, I grow my own
I just
basil.
dropped it.
Yeah, so I'll do what I do is I just take whatever teas I want. If it, an organic, herbal, caffeine-free, oftentimes a spiced tea or mint or something like that, or just fruits, whatever. But you look at the ingredients of the tea, and then in my steeping thing, my glass thing, honey. Do you have my glass? I do it in glass, like a glass decanter.
Right.
And
And
then
the metal netting that it has in it.
oh yeah, this. Well, what I do, yeah. So I use the metal netting for loose teas and cranberries, but I just use this. So then I've got a whole. I put my tea bags, my Oh, can you get me a decanter? So and a cinnamon stick and cloves and ginger. Now I'll either put fresh ginger or I do it just like this because these things are hot cold. These things are amazing. These are like little miracles because
Is
they
it glass?
yeah, it's glass, but
It's
it's
like Ortholite, right? Like something like that.
in,